Have you ever imagined looking at Pluto and seeing something moving? NASA received images that left scientists silent because in the middle of the eternal ice, there is something that seems to be sliding across the surface. And the question that nobody wants to ask out loud is Pluto alive? Pluto has always been treated as a dead world, cold, dark, without history. But since the New Horizons probe passed by it, something began to change. And the more data arrives, the more Pluto seems like a place that should not exist. What if the planet that the world demoted in 2006 is precisely the one that holds the most dangerous secret of the Kuiper belt, because Pluto seems to have a heart? And why could that heart be beating from the inside? In 2006, Pluto was officially expelled from the group of planets, and that shook the entire world. But it wasn't out of malice, it was because of a new rule. To be a planet, it needed to clear its orbit, and Pluto did not clear it. It shares space with several objects in the Kuiper belt. Science made the decision, but humanity did not accept it. The world revolted. People sent protest letters, famous scientists split, governments received messages from furious citizens demanding that Pluto become a planet again, and there is a bizarre detail in this moment. When scientists removed Pluto from the list, they still hadn't seen Pluto for real, and when they saw it, it was too late. In 2015, New Horizons sent the first real photo of Pluto, and it wasn't a blurry dot in the sky. It was a world with color, texture, movement, and a bright heart, as if Pluto were saying, "You forgot me, but I'm not finished." NASA expected craters and a frozen desert, but Pluto delivered something much worse because it did not look dead, it looked active. Pluto revealed deep canyons, giant mountains made of ice, smooth plains with no craters, and geometric structures that are almost impossible to explain. And every data package that arrived was like discovering a new planet. But then came the image that made the world stop. A recording that circulated in 2016 seemed to show something walking on Pluto. If you look quickly, it looks like a person, a shadow, a body, a silhouette. But the scientific explanation is even more frightening. Researchers believe that this is a dirty iceberg, a gigantic block made of solid nitrogen, slowly sliding across the frozen plain. Not water ice, but nitrogen and methane ice. And that raises the inevitable question, if Pluto can move ice, what else can it move? And the most absurd detail is this: to slide, it needs an engine, and Pluto should not have enough energy for that unless Pluto is not so cold inside. Scientists now suspect that there is a nitrogen reservoir kilometers below the surface. And because of internal geological activity, this material is pushed upward, creating strange shapes, honeycombs, giant structures, and ice mountains that seem to move over time. This points to a shocking reality. Pluto may have a hot core, and that changes everything. If Pluto has heat, it may have something even rarer, liquids. And liquid means active chemistry. And active chemistry is always the first step towards something bigger. Geologist William McKinnon compared Pluto's interior to a kind of giant lava lamp. Simulations show that this dwarf planet evolved over millions of years and may still be active today. And one detail confirms this. There are signs of sublimation, a process in which material goes from solid directly to gas. In other words, Pluto breathes. But the most disturbing part comes now. Pluto does not change only inside, it changes outside, with seasons, climate, and something that seems impossible: alien snow. Pluto has an extremely thin atmosphere made of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. And depending on the distance from the Sun, this atmosphere expands and contracts. When Pluto is closer to the Sun, part of the ice evaporates and becomes gas. When it moves away, this gas freezes and falls back down. It literally snows nitrogen and methane, and this covers the planet with new layers. as if Pluto were always renewing itself, and the question is inevitable. If Pluto's surface renews itself, where are the ancient craters? Why do some regions look newly born? Pluto's heart is not just beautiful, it is one of the most mysterious regions in the entire solar system, called Sputnik Planitia. It is almost 1,000 kilometers wide and is made of nitrogen ice, methane, and carbon monoxide. But the most shocking detail is that it is so smooth, so impeccable, that it seems to have been reset recently, as if something underneath were keeping that surface active. And scientists suspect something that seems impossible, an ocean of liquid water beneath the ice. But how would that be possible so far from the sun? The hypothesis is that Pluto's internal heat, combined with the chemical composition of the ice, can keep a layer of liquid water underground. And if there is liquid water, even if life seems unlikely, it is not completely impossible, because life does not need light. It needs energy and chemistry and time. And Pluto has all three. But Pluto is not alone. It has a gigantic partner that may be feeding all this chaos. Charon. Charon is huge. It is about 1,212 kilometers in diameter, and it is so large that Pluto and Charon do not orbit like a common planet and moon. They orbit around a center of gravity that is outside Pluto. In other words, Pluto and Charon look like a double system, and this gravitational dance can generate tidal forces that move the internal layers. And this may be one of the reasons Pluto's interior still has heat. So maybe Pluto's heart is not just a mark, maybe it is a sign, as if Pluto were saying, I'm still here and I'm still changing. And here is the theory that haunts scientists the most. Pluto may be a world that still holds internal energy, a dwarf planet with active geology, climate in cycles, and maybe even a subglacial ocean under the famous heart. It is not a lifeless piece of ice. It may be a time capsule, a natural laboratory, with processes that should not exist so far from the sun. And if that is true, then maybe the Kuiper belt is full of worlds like this, silent worlds, invisible worlds, worlds that seem dead until you get close. And now I want to know from you. Do you think Pluto was demoted too soon, or do you believe it can still hide something much bigger beneath that ice? Comment down below. I will pin the smartest theories, subscribe to Misterios do Universo, and activate the bell, because the next deep space data may change everything we believe about the solar system.